So have you ever had a bad habit? I know I've never had one. Let's see, countless addictions. I've had nothing but bad habits throughout my life. I think we all have things like that. We'd like to be different. And I thought I'd give you a tip on how to turn that around. It's a real struggle for people. Because really, you have this habit because it's worked for you. You've gotten something out of it. Unfortunately, for most of it, what we get out of it is the victim position. It keeps us stuck repeating pain. And because of the things I talk about in my book, things nobody else in the industry is talking about, we don't realize that we all love to repeat our pain against ourselves, and I show a pathway out of it. So I'm going to give you a little taste here of how all that works and how to turn that around. So this whole idea came to mind because a friend of mine got in touch the other day, and they were really struggling. Their bad habit was guilt. They're going through a lot of relationship difficulties, financial difficulties, COVID, all these different things. And they just wanted to sleep. They're like, I just need a break. But she felt really, really guilty for even considering that idea. And that happens to a lot of us. We're like, God, the thought of taking care of ourselves is just selfish and not the right thing to do. And because I've known her so long, I can, kind of in a sense counsel her. We have that kind of friendship. And so I just asked her, tell me about the feelings. What are they? List them. When you feel this guilt, what other feelings come along with it? And so it was like I said, that anger, that selfishness, that inadequacy, powerlessness, hopeless, helpless. And then I asked her, I said, so where in your body do you feel all of that? And she said, in her legs. And I was like, isn't that interesting? We'll get to that in a minute. And I said, okay, first thing that comes to your mind, when was the first time you felt those exact same feelings and you felt that feeling in your legs? And immediately she goes, my mom. I said, tell me the story. Well, her relationship with her mother, she always felt like she had to take care of her mom. Her job was to please her mother. And that's why it went in her legs, because see, when we store all of our emotional pain in our body, and that's what causes illness and disease. I mean, science shows that genes don't cause disease, your environment. And so your emotional environment turns that gene on, and that the repeated firing of that painful emotion breaks down, the body. That's people with COVID, whatever. That's just an expression of their emotional condition. That's what's making them sick. The science is overwhelming. That's what happens. So the reason it went in her legs is she can't step forward into her life. Do you see what happens? If she goes to step into her life, she feels guilty because, wait a minute, I'm supposed to take care of my mother. That's my job. And so any thought of taking care of herself shuts her down. And so I asked her, I said, what if you could never, now that we know where that came from, that it was situations with your mom, what if you could never have that thought or that feeling again in your legs? If it never was possible, what would happen then? And immediately she said, wow. Peace, freedom, empty, but she said empty in a good way. And what she meant was empty without the burden. There was space. And I said, where in your body do you feel that? She said, my heart. And I said, what you just discovered is who you truly are. That's your greatness. That's who you're meant to be. And this is true for all of us. Whatever feeling you're having, ask yourself those two questions. When's the first time I felt it? It's always going to revert back to something in childhood. Some way you were meant, your parents or someone close to you made you take care of them. And you gave yourself away. And you became something you're not. And you're carrying their trauma. Because all that guilt and everything she's carrying is her mother's guilt and shame that she had to carry all her life. That just gets dumped into us because we don't teach how to do this. So she's been carrying her mother's trauma all of her life. And then by asking her that question, it taught her how to switch out of it and how to find who she really is. And so I said, the next time you feel guilt, if you want to break this habit, that's all you have to do is remind yourself, wait a minute, if it's in your legs, you're feeling all that guilt and everything. Go, no, Mom, I love you, but I'm not going to carry it for you anymore. Give it back to her. And then sit in the feeling in your chest of that freedom, of being free of that burden, that empty space that you now have in your life. That's who you're meant to be and express in the world, not all of your mother's pain and trauma. Wow, she went right home, slept, and slept for a long time with no guilt because she was okay. So if you're struggling with an addiction, because all addiction is, it's not a genetic thing. Addiction is intolerable pain. So instead of asking, what gene or what's going on, ask what's the pain? What are you trying to medicate with the addiction? Whether it's food, working out, TV, video games, sex, porn. It's just pain. That's all. Ask yourself that question. When was the first time I felt this? Who dumped their pain into you that you've been carrying? And then ask yourself, who would I be without this? That's who you're meant to be. Then you have to just practice the new habit of living out of that new feeling, that new reality. And that's how you break the habit. So I hope that helped you. I hope you're having a great day. Leave me comments. Let me know how you use that to get out of your bad habits and walk in the greatness that you're meant for, and instead of carrying everyone else's pain all your life. Have a great day.